Harvey Weinstein speaks. He is currently in jail over charges that he was untoward with some actresses. Yes, am I avoiding saying certain words? I am. Harvey Weinstein has appeared on Candace Owens' podcast in audio form. There are several episodes of that. Since I think they started in February. She started interviewing him in a series. She finally got to speak to him on camera. And part one of that series, about 20 minutes of video, has been put out. We will look at certain clips that address certain issues. Before we get to those, Alan, do you have anything that you'd like to add about Harvey Weinstein?
No, he's still a dirtbag and deserves to be where he is right now. But yeah, let's hear him talk. It's America.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, his argument, because I watched the whole interview. We'll play clips in a moment.
Yeah.
I watched the whole interview, 20 minutes. It's part one. It ends, and then so there's more video upcoming. He mentions he's somewhere on the phone, but you can see him on video. He is wearing a suit. Previously, he was in like a t-shirt and pajama bottoms, whatever. But he was only audio. In this, he addresses his behavior. Let's just say this. His argument is he's a horrible person. He is an immoral person who, in a transactional way, approached actresses for favors. Now, what he did may be immoral. Obviously, he cheated on his wife, but he's saying what he did is not illegal. I'll leave that for the courts to decide. I'll say that he does mention in here about taking a lie detector test. And I'll say that his lie detector results, where he says he's proven innocent. I believe him because I think in the sense that I believe he believes he's innocent, right? But yeah. I think the people that the actresses for which he made advances and proposals, indecent ones, they see it differently. So make of that what you will. You have not seen these clips.
I have not seen this. No, I will eventually see it, but I've not seen these.
Okay, well, let me bring up clip one, and they've been arranged by our producer. This is Atomic Lori. Thank you. This is amazing. So Gwyneth Paltrow allegations. He talks about Gwyneth Paltrow allegations. And let me show you this short clip. Here we go.
69.
If you know this, she went on Howard Stern and basically made a very strong statement against you and said that Brad Pitt had to effectively rescue her from you and stand up to you because you made her feel so uncomfortable.
We had one instance in a hotel room where he made a pass at me. And then I really kind of stood up to him. I told my boyfriend at the time,
Brad Pitt.
We were at the opening of Hamlet on Broadway that Ralph Fiennes was in Hamlet, and Harvey was there, and Brad Pitt. It was like the equivalent of throwing him against the wall, energetically. What he did was he leveraged his fame and power to protect me at a time when I didn't have fame or power yet.
Right. Wow. It moves you.
Yeah. It was fantastic. He said, if you ever make her feel uncomfortable again, I'll kill you, or something like that.
It's a complete fabrication, about my relationship with Gwyneth. I'm going to talk about it and just say that I had a meeting with her. She originally was scheduled to do Woody Allen's Everyone Says I Love You. Thank God I was distributing that movie as well. And I managed to substitute Drew Barrymore for Gwyneth so that Gwyneth could play Emma. And Woody Allen did us a real favor by doing that because we were scheduled to shoot Emma and I wanted Gwyneth for the role. At the end of the meeting, we had a glass of champagne. As I was walking out the door, I said to her, "I'd love you to give me a massage." And she went, "Yeah." And
Yeah, yeah. Because Harvey, if you looked in a mirror, I mean, I'll say, like, look,
Wow.
it's he's just unaware that now, but you have to go back to his defense, and we'll show more clips. His defense is immoral, not illegal. Is it illegal to ask for a massage? And Alan, we've, no, we haven't. I'm not going to make light of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was consensual. We'll just say that.
yeah. Everything between Alan and I is consensual. I mean, this is dirtbag behavior, but is it illegal to ask and then be turned down? And he definitely made her feel uncomfortable. I mean, he's no Brad Pitt. Let's say that he's no Brad Pitt. Let me keep playing this a bit.
that was it. I didn't put my hand on her. I didn't touch her. I definitely made a pass, I guess. You could call it that. But that was the sum total of that situation. She did have Brad call me, and Brad, very manly, very cool, just said, "Don't do that again." And that was that. We made 11 movies together, classic films: Shakespeare in Love, Talented Mr. Ripley, Sliding Doors, just so many great movies and such a great partnership. And now I heard, that she thought the relationship was abusive. Anybody who was there, who witnessed that relationship, it just turned into total friends. There's pictures of her hugging me when I was sick, when I was sick and in the hospital and didn't think I was going to make it in 1999. Gwyneth at the Golden Globe said, "Bomber, we miss you." She got up and made a speech about me. Nobody asked her to do that. In her Academy speech, she thanks me. She's the daughter of a wealthy TV producer, a great man, and Blythe Danner, a great actress, with Steven Spielberg as her godfather. She doesn't have to she could have just said, "Harvey asked me for a massage. I'm never working for him again."
Okay, if you consider yourself to be pro-life.
Yeah, so, okay. What do you think about that?
I am. But I'm just trying to figure out how to word this delicately, but I think you're right. I think he believes he didn't do anything inappropriate.
He believes he's innocent.
Right. But
what I'm saying is,
but clearly
he believes the situation as he describes it. We saw Gwyneth Paltrow describes the situation completely differently than he did. He's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. I asked her for massage. She turned me down."
To ask someone to massage you, that to me, that's his idea that these are the perks of Hollywood, and that these are the perks of being a producer, that I can just ask someone to give me a massage. And again, I believe he thinks he said it that way, but I'm pretty sure I would venture to guess that he asked for a little bit more than just a massage, and that he but he'll conveniently forget that. And he can't. And look, this is the profile. These guys, these dirtbags, they see the world in their light and their view, and that they are the heroes. He's the hero. He's the one who made all these great movies. He's the one that Meryl Streep called God, or was that Jennifer Lawrence? I'm sure he believes.
So that was Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. That's right. That's again, I'm holding back because I know people like this, and
okay,
and he just fits that profile perfectly. The fact that he could just sit there and act innocent, it just rubs me the wrong way.
Okay, well, here he is talking about Seth Rogen and the Believe All Women movement. Let's watch.
Celebrities. I'm just give you an example here. Seth Rogen came out when things were happening with you, and he said, "I believe all women coming forward about Harvey Weinstein's sexual harassment. It took bravery to do so." Such a blanket statement to just say, "I believe all women." That was kind of what was being said in 2017 and 2018. Like, women have never told a lie.
I can, Seth, and I made a movie together called Zach and Miri Make a Porno. It was a Kevin Smith film, and it didn't do well. And I think, sometimes, you blame the producer or the distributor, and in this case, they blame me. And it was a good movie, and I wish I could have marketed it better, but I couldn't find the handle on it. And so I think there was always animosity between Seth and myself. So given the opportunity, he took a shot at me, and
Yeah.
so be it. But I hear he's doing great work on this. You know, I read about that he's doing amazing work on this TV series he has called The Studio, and he's an extremely talented individual. But I was a sitting duck.
Yeah, and look, a lot of these people, I think it was step on his head while he's drowning, and it will help you. And I'm sure their PR agents were saying, you don't want to get caught up in this. Make the right statement, or you're going to get burned by this. But like I said, some people took it, I think, a bit further. You and I had discussed, and I don't know if we're willing to talk about this, but
Anyways, okay. I don't know. The believe all women. I think the thing that people there have been cases like Aziz Ansari comes to mind.
Mhm.
Went on a date with a girl. They had
went
an
badly.
intimate. It went badly. They had an intimate moment, and then she wrote about it for a online magazine, and he made him sound like a horrible person. But when you break down what she accused him of, I think she just regretted how she acted on the date. It didn't go all that
Regretted
well.
the decision she made. Yeah.
And look, with all these things, there are two sides to every story. The truth, I'm going to guess, is somewhere in the middle. It's not this way. It's probably not Harvey Weinstein's version. Probably somewhere in the middle. I've got one last
Well,
series.
hold on. I want to, I think to defend Seth Rogen, yeah, he said that, but I'm pretty sure he had friends who had involvements with Harvey Weinstein, and he's bringing those interactions into that statement. And so for him just to flippantly say, well, we had a falling out and therefore he's doing this, I'm pretty sure it was a little bit more than that.
Well,
and the other thing about victims of abuse, what I have found is and believe all women, what I have found is the most delicate way I could say this is the actual victims of abuse sadly tend not to speak up, and the ones who want to benefit from their tragedy are the ones who speak up. And unfortunately, those are the ones who tend to stretch the truth a bit versus the ones who actually go through the abuse and can't defend themselves and can't it's such a traumatic event. To talk about it is almost more tragic or more traumatizing, and so therefore the real events tend to go silent, which is the sad truth about everything that's happening here.
One more point I'll make is that there is a cumulative effect. If you keep hearing about, Aziz Ansari, it was like there wasn't a bunch of women.
Yeah,
it was one instance. There wasn't a whole bunch of women saying, I had a bad date with Aziz Ansari too. They didn't. With Harvey, there were many instances.
Yeah, it never happens just once. It happens over and over and over again, and that was Harvey.
And there you go. So one last clip here about Ashley Judd. Let's take a look at this.
These different things, and followed up and did the research before they wrote the article. Ashley Judd's claims are, ridiculous. I stood in a hotel room. I never touched her, came on to her, nothing ever. I fought for her. They said I banned her on a movie. I fought for her on Good Will Hunting, and I lost that battle. I thought she would have been fabulous in that movie, and I think she would have gotten an Oscar nomination. But, people could forget all it is research. There's an article in the Washington Post, if you Google Ashley Judd and Harvey Weinstein, and said that Ashley Judd gushed all over me at the English Patient Oscar party. There's a picture of me holding her hand. And when she went on TV, she said, see, he's pulling me. He's pulling me. I was just holding her hand, pushing her into the party, bringing her in. But Diane Sawyer and those people at that time, you believed it because everybody believed those people, at that moment. The New York Times believed, no research, no research whatsoever. I hope this article blows the whole place up, and that the Pulitzer Prize people reconsider.
So yeah, we'll put the link to the full interview in the description here. Alan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, it's he's telling a story from his perspective, and I'm pretty sure he's either forgotten or intentionally leaving out certain details. And again, it doesn't happen just once; it happens over and over again. And what makes the victims more credible is the fact that it's not like a single group, but it's a lot of people who don't know each other who can tell the same story.
Yeah. So this story will be ongoing as he seeks some kind of redemption arc. Although I could see Harvey Weinstein in prison producing a movie with iPhones and casting people in prison. How would that go?
Yeah, I think it's called Prisoners of Love.